Hello and a warm welcome. You've joined us on Commodity Central right here on ET Now. I'm Ashesha Dwaryu. Precious metals are shining bright this Diwali. Gold and silver are up a staggering 50 and 70% respectively on a year-to-date basis. Several factors aiding the move. One, of course, is central bank buying. We have safe haven demand, which seems to be resuming yet again in the global market. Geopolitical tensions and supply crunch, not only the domestic market, but in the global market as well as far as silver is concerned. But to discuss another factor that's aiding the move, which is inflow of ETFs, which is at a record high. This is what latest data from the World Gold Council suggests. And to discuss this, we now have Sachin Jain, Regional CEO India at World Gold Council, now joining us. Mr. Jain, afternoon, and thank you so much for joining us. Latest data suggests that global gold ETFs recorded their largest monthly inflow in the month of September, which is the strongest quarter on record. How much inflow did gold physically backed ETFs record in the month of September? If you can help us with that number. And how do you expect the trend of ETF inflows to shape up going forward for the next few months, given the surge that we have seen on a year-to-date basis so far?
The last month and even the last quarter, we've seen dramatic inflows of global ETFs. And from January till now, a total of 634 tons of gold ETF has been added, which earmarks almost to the level of 2020 levels, which are the highest ever. So just about 1.8% lower than the 2020 level. And with this surge, it's really a confidence on the financial sector on the gold as overall. And even if you zoom into India or the Indian gold ETFs, when we started the year with about 56, 57 tons, right now we're almost touching 80 tons of gold ETF in the country, which earmarks of a huge confidence in the financial sector markets on the gold.
Clearly, we have seen massive inflows in gold ETFs globally. But Mr. Jain, region-wise, if you can tell us which regions are seeing most ETF inflows, and if you can break that up into India, America, Europe, and several other countries globally?
Yes. So from a regional perspective, we've seen the Western markets, primarily led by the United States and the European markets, to hugely intake of gold ETFs. And also we've seen the very Eastern markets, including China, that have seen the intake. And as I said, India has been on a continuous thrust as well. We might say that these numbers seem small, but we believe that it's really at the crux or the cusp of expansion. And we think in the coming years and time, gold ETFs in India will do extremely well.
Okay, also wanted your thoughts on physical holding of gold, and if we contrast surge in gold prices and ETFs to physical holding of gold, how has the trend been of gold holding of physical holding of gold in the domestic and in the global market?
Well, I think for that to answer, we wanted to understand that even when there is a surge of gold ETF, then ETF is a product that is backed by physical gold. So somewhere or the other, there is physical backing of gold that happens. Now, from a financial sector market in India, when you look at consumption via gold as a financial asset, we've seen a large part of that happens via physical bars and coins, and a smaller part is via ETF, which seems to be in the form of paper, but essentially it's all physically backed. So I think the trend globally has been to hold a lot of ETF. In India, there's still India and China. There's still a larger sort of acceptance of physical bars and coins, and the intake of gold ETF in the gold in the ETF form is still a smaller segment of the overall market. In India parlance, this is about 10% of the global demand of the overall demand of gold in the investment form.
Understood. So gold ETF is still a small portion of the global gold market. But what is your sense when it comes to gold prices? Do you think robust investment demand, which drove prices to record high this month, has pushed the market into a significantly overbought territory now? And do you see downside risk to your estimates as far as gold prices are concerned?
We don't, first and foremost, we don't estimate anything on the pricing. However, this current surge that we've seen by the financial markets has been unprecedented, and it's been really brought the focus of gold across all sectors. When the year started, the whole consumption was led by central banks buying based on the whole geopolitics and the other elements. Right now, the financial markets are on a highway on buying and consuming gold, investing in gold. Now, if you look at the long-term perspective, I think the pillars on which the gold pricing is based on are pretty much in favor of gold. Now, whether that's going to continue or not, we'll see in time. But currently, the wind in terms of the favor of what gold is and the strength and what gold brings in is largely in favor of.
So that's as far as gold prices is concerned and what the outlook is. And clearly we saw a sharp uptick in ETF inflows in the month of September, and the trend is likely to continue. Mr. Jain,